So welcome back to cross-cultural communications class. I am Professor Sean Watts. This is our outline, the bit.ly CCC outline. We are going through, and this week is week 3. You get 15 marks for sharing your introduction for your group project. In addition to that, since we have communicated how Canadian culture, my culture, is very participative, very equal, everybody's equal. If you guys want to start talking about your stuff, great. If you don't, I'm going to keep talking. I talk too much. And I'm going to be teaching about what we've already studied in the beginning, the idea of the changing nature of cultures, and then the idea of universal system, how countries and cultures can be quantified and different. And week 3, getting into the idea of comparing East-West again. So we have many PPTs and many activities we can go through, but it's best if you guys share your information so that we can give you guys points. If you don't speak up, I'm going to just keep teaching. So I'm going to start with a review of week 1, chapter 1, the whole idea of introduction to international communication. We started talking about how there are many people that are now online talking to people from around the world, and we should not make these bad mistakes and be unaware of other cultures when we communicate. Otherwise, we look really stupid. We don't want to make these type of mistakes. It's best if we are aware of the other cultures first. So the idea in week 1, I'll just share some of this quickly. There's different examples of miscommunications, examples and definitions of key words we need to know, like a melting pot, globalization, definitions of culture, dimensions of culture. This is pretty important. You need to understand who is Gert Hofstede and how he has dimensions of culture, the power distance, collectivism, individualism, the masculinity, femininity, and uncertainty avoidance. And then we talked about other people like the Globe or Trompenard, Laurent, that all have additional definitions and dimensions of culture. We talked about stereotypes are very good to help manage information, so you know how other cultures are. But if you don't check the stereotypes, if you don't verify them, you will be stupid. You will look stupid. So we went through examples showing how cultures are different. When you're communicating with people, you need to understand some people think right when other people think left. Some people think square when other people think circular. Some people think over here banana when other people think bear. Some people think the balloon goes up because the string is cut. Other people think it's because wind comes up. Other people say this guy in the number 2 shirt is happy all the time. Other people say he's happy only when other people in his relationship, his environment is all happy. But if his environment is not happy, then he's probably not happy too. It's not right. It's not wrong. It's just showing people think and do things and communicate differently. This idea of the food over here is my favorite example, talking about how in North America, the mothers encourage the children to be as independent as possible, as early as possible. So they're always focused on learning to take care of themselves. Versus in the West, in Korea, Japan, and China, the parents are usually focusing on helping their kids learn the most from books as opposed to practical experience. So while they're memorizing books, the parents prepare all of the food and take care of the clothes. Versus my parents, I washed my own stuff. I took care of my own breakfasts and stuff whenever I could. Another example, they were showing that some people notice the whole picture, like the Kleenex box, versus other cultures only notice the one individual detail of the face. Then we started talking about cultures of education, and we identified the Korean education and Chinese education is at a maximum, kind of extreme. They have, for a typical high school, which is the same in the United States, in East Asia, and even in India, it's all about the same number of years you study high school. But in China, they study almost 600,000 minutes versus in India, it's 420,000 minutes. And in the United States, they're studying 300,000 minutes. So they're studying a lot more in China and in Korea. But then we also identified even when they do study in some countries, they're focused on studying different things, like the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. STEM programs are what they're usually studying in East Asia, versus in some countries, in the United States and Canada, you can study just skiing or swimming or football and get class credit for that. So that was interesting to talk about. Then we went through the idea of learning cultural intelligence. Some people say it's even more important than IQ. There's IQ, there's EQ for emotional intelligence, and now CQ for cultural intelligence. And we understood culture is complicated. Usually you only see a little bit of the culture at the beginning. You need to research quite a lot. You need to check quite a lot to understand these details. And there's a lot of extra information. So that was week 1. Week 2, we talked about how cultures are quite different related to the universal systems. Oops, let me make sure this is shown here well. So in the universal systems, what this is talking about is that there's many different systems, many different ways of analyzing systems, analyzing education. You can compare people based on their education. You can compare people based on their social status or their occupational status or their wealth and financial status and technological details. But it's good to ultimately understand yourself first. And then there's the mind map is the simplest way to identify yourself. And then there's the professional versions that talk about humanmetrics.com and 16personalities.com. They will identify your personality, your characteristics, your way of communicating, your way of learning. And after you learn about yourself, then it's easier to compare with others. So again, one thing that we're talking about is how you communicate with others. I think I explained today that my culture generally comes from Canada, an equal-based environment where students and professors are equal. If students aren't interested in presenting or talking, the teacher keeps doing it. Hint, hint. And if you are aware of how you can get certain marks for class, like this week 3 is this week, you should be able to get 15 marks by presenting anything related to your introduction of your group project. It's best if you identify specific focus that you want to specialize in and explain why it's important for the world. Great. If you don't present, I'm going to keep presenting. Again,
Professor,
yes.
I want to present our project.
Awesome. Thank you very much for speaking up. Could you keep speaking or give me your name so I know who to share screens with?
My name is Im Min-gyu.
Im Min-gyu. So you now are co-host. You can share your screen if you want to show anything. Is there anybody else in class that wants me to make you a co-host so you can show some of your files or show your screen?
Can my group present after Min-gyu's presentation? Yep. Thank you.
Min-gyu, feel free to start sharing your screen anytime. Anybody else? Jules, Kevin, Johnny, Maria, Minjong.
Yeah, we can go after Gongjong.
Okay, just a second. Can you clarify once again who is talking? Who wants to go next?
Maria.
Maria, okay.
Yeah. We can go after the second team.
Okay, so Im Min-gyu, I see your screen. Organization in a digital age looks perfect. Thank you very much. We are recording already, so feel free to be a world-class specialist in cross-cultural communication with organizations in the digital age.
Our project topic is organization in digital age, like social media and the importance of culture. And why is this topic is important? Because as of 2019, 3.2 billion people around the world use social media. And second is social media users use an average of 2 hours and 22 minutes. This many people do more than 6 hours. And finally, today more than 2 million companies use Facebook advertisement. And how does social impact culture in positive ways? Like social media has been a major part of our daily lives and totally affected our culture in positive and negative ways. There are so many positive impacts of social media on our culture. Social media increased the connects between people and created an environment in which you can share opinions, pictures, and lots of stuff. And social media improved creativity and social awareness for our society by interacting with other people and sharing new ideas and opinions. It is also important for any business because at some point you need to use social media in your business. Social media develop international business and marketing. People prefer to buy stuff online. Social media created an opportunity to widen your world and make new friends from other countries. It is easier to learn about breaking news on social media because it has unlimited access flexibility. And on the other hand, social media has influenced our culture in negative ways. People can share whatever they want to on social media, and some of them might be appropriate pictures. People has become more conservative about each other's point of view. People started to argue about each other's perspective related to political view, religion, and social life and culture. And social media had negative effect on news. This is specific problem is in our society. This is specific problem is addiction. And in our society, it begins with a review of the addiction of social media, commonly referred to as SNS. We look at why we are addicted to social media. It is often thought that these apps are connected and communicated, but this is an illusion. Social media is just to show advertisements without any purpose. And how the internet and social media are changing culture. Social media has been a major part of, it is no doubt that the internet and the social media are powerful instruments for mobilization of people. However, it is not its own technological imperative that allows the social media to play a prominent role in social protest. Throughout human history, new technology of communication have had a significant impact on culture. And inevitably, in the early stage of their introduction, the impact and the effect of such innovation were poorly understood. Plato used the voice of Socrates to raise the alarm about perils posed by invention of writing and of reading. In his dialogue, Paradox, Plato denounced writing as inhuman and warned that writing weakened the mind and that it threatened to destroy people's memory. How the internet and social media are changing culture. First is changing technology and culture. There is a little doubt that the digital technology and social media has already a significant impact on culture. Towards the end of the 19th century, artists sought to capture their subject through portraits of individuals who are absorbed in the act of reading a book. Today, it is a picture of people standing in the middle of a crowd, captivated by what they are reading on their smartphone. The best symbolize the 21st century subject. The internet and social media are very powerful tools that can influence and shape human behavior. The social media has played a significant role in recent outbreaks of social protest and resistance. The mushrooming of Occupy protest, the Arab Spring, the mobilization of resistance against the government of Ukraine or in Hong Kong was heavily dependent on the resource provided by social media. Many observers have concluded that in a network where the social media possesses the potential to promote public participation, engagement, and the process of democratizing public life. And second is changing the internet and everyday culture. The culture of everyday life has become entwined with the internet. The flash on online dating offers a striking example of how the construction of significant relationships can draw on the resource provided by the social media. And the bedroom culture is
interesting. I'm gonna like this part. You're saying a lot of information, but I'm not interrupting you because I want to hear this part. Teach me about bedroom culture.
I'm so nervous.
Oh my gosh, don't stop, don't stop.
Okay. Bedroom culture is the product of two interrelated and sometimes contradictory developments. On the one hand, the confinement of children indoors is the outcome of other intuitive. Surveys frequently attest to the fact that children would rather be outdoors, and in particular, they would rather be playing with their friends. Yes. Thank you for listening.
No pictures, no videos of that bedroom culture. Okay, maybe that's in the background section, right?
Right.
Just joking. Wow, that was a lot of presentations. Before we get into the next group, I would like to hear somebody give a comment. Can I quit my job and get one of you to be, or pretend to be, the teacher and evaluate that presentation? What is everybody supposed to do? Everybody is supposed to be trying to become a specialist in some area, period. Just introduce what is your specialty and why is it important? How can you evaluate that? Any comments? Please give me some comments.
Sir, I have a question, not a comment. Can I ask to him?
Yes.
Well, you mentioned about mostly positive aspect of development internet, and then the effect that it brought to our society, the positive side. However, spread of internet and increase of using social media also created negative side effect, like it used in crime. So I would like to, maybe next time when you are sharing, I would like to hear some cases and maybe cover like what limitation it has or what has to be done to protect from those kind of crimes.
So while I want to hear about the bedroom culture, he wants to learn how to do crime. Okay. Good. Would you be able to evaluate his presentation and maybe give him some any other points? So you told him he's talking about good things, so you're suggesting he should also talk about the bad things. Okay, fair enough. He could consider that. Any other evaluation points? Does he deserve perfect 15 marks? 15 out of 15? Anybody wants to evaluate or give comments?
Yeah, but not on the subject, more on the shape of what he did. Is that it's supposed to be a presentation, right? So I would, if I was thinking about an introduction, it would be, in my opinion, it would be shorter, maybe, because there was really, it was really well explained, but there maybe was too much information for an introduction.
Okay,
do you get what I mean?
You did give a lot of information. And do you remember, Jules, what is his topic? What is his specific research project?
I don't have the exact name, but he's talking about the internet and social media changing the culture.
Good, good. So make sure you're aware of that. So we have Inmin Gyu and Kavajani and Arfin Zvar. You guys presented a lot of stuff, but does the world now know you as a specialist in something? Your research paper should try to teach the world something new about something very specific. Why? Cross-cultural communications, it is changing. In the past, people were just happy to talk to anybody. If you lived in a village, you didn't see many people very often. If you saw anybody, you were lucky, so you can talk about anything. But today, everybody can meet everybody. It's very easy, so people usually just want to get to the point. So if a company is going to hire you for cross-cultural communications job, they want you to be a specialist. And if you are a generalist, they probably won't hire you. It's easier to get a job if you specialize in one area. So you talked about, as I understand, organizations in the digital age, social media, and the impact of culture. But which country? And which year? And which industry? Are you talking about mining coal and mining quartz rock or mining diamonds? Or are you talking about making the rockets that go to Mars? That type of culture communications with their digital age. So try to make it as specific as possible. For example, you can continue what you're doing, but maybe give one example of one company that one of your group members wants to work with, and the next group member wants to work with a different country or a different company or different industry. You can use that as an example. That would help you specialize in something. So that would help. Anybody else want to help me provide some sort of comments for the group? What about Wilwin or Samanj? Maria? Anybody? Going once. Going twice. No other comments about the presentation? How about one person give me a grade for that first presentation, and then we'll go on to the next group. Anybody, just yell out a grade. We probably won't even know who said it.
Can I volunteer, although I'm not a student?
Yes, you can.
For this group, I want to give them the maybe 13 mark, but since they are very proactive, they want to present first. Maybe it's good to give them 14 out of 15.
So we got one bonus mark for just trying to talk, and you're talking before other people, so you get a bonus mark for doing that. 13 out of 15 is the quality mark, and 1 is the bonus mark. Yes, I would agree. For example, you said a lot. If you said something that was more specific, it would be a higher mark. And so far, how about Gwen? How are you today? Gwen, can you explain what is a troll? What is an internet troll? If this group, MinQ, says all of these things, presents all of these things, and an internet troll joins the talk, what's going to happen? Who is an internet troll? What is an internet troll?
Okay. So an internet troll was, I don't know if this is in the presentation, because I'm gonna be honest, my Wi-Fi was going out and I got kicked out. So I just got back in like in the middle of that presentation, and I'm not completely sure what's going on. But an internet troll, I mean, it's kind of in the name, like they're there to just troll people and like kind of heckle and like poke fun at and basically make trouble.
Right. So in Korea, or if English is a different language, if you don't understand what a troll is, or poking fun at or heckle, what it means is a lot of people, including our class, we are now on YouTube. We're open for the world to see, and you're going to have good people interact with you if you're lucky, but usually good people are kind of quiet people. They may talk nicely, but bad people may attack you and cause trouble. Those are called trolls. Sometimes they'll just argue with anything. So you, in Mingyu, you have said quite a lot of information, but so far it's all just your idea. I don't see any references here. So somebody can say, you're crazy, you're on drugs, you're a bonehead, whatever, you're not in my world. They can attack you. Why am I talking about this? I'm talking about this is when you communicate, cross-cultural communications, if you reference other people, there's at least two main advantages to that. If you reference other people, number one, you look like you are aware. You look like you are experienced. You look like you are quality. You are knowledgeable. The more you reference people, the better, especially if you identify these are the world's best minds or the best people, like Scopus articles. You can reference unreliable sources like CNN or BBC or Facebook or Wikipedia, but as long as you reference many things, that's good. The second thing is if you say somebody else said it, so if you reference somebody, that internet troll cannot attack you. They can only attack what that other person said. And if you just want that internet troll just to shut up, you can say, I agree, let's move on. They can't argue anymore. So reference other people is good for several different reasons. It makes you look knowledgeable and it protects you at the same time. Other than referencing people, which everybody should try to do, then make it clear what your area is, what your specialty is. So congratulations, 14 out of 15. Next. Who wants to be next?
May I?
Whoever that is, yes, you may.
Okay, so I'll share my.
That's Kyunggan.
Yes. So this is our paper for introduction, just for introduction, and we are writing about how gender pay gap influences on companies' performance in Korea. The reason why we chose the topic is that gender wage gap is a serious issue being discussed in many countries. And after our group's meeting or discussion, we found out that Korea, where we live now, is the first ranked where it has the highest gender wage gap according to OECD. And according to OECD statistics, the average wage gap between men and women in OECD member countries in 2017 was 13.6%. But the wage gap between men and women in Korea was already 34.6%, the highest among major OECD countries. So we decided to take this topic as our paper and to just show you more. As you can see from this in this slide, this is OECD, and this is the current thing. And as you can see, Korea has the highest number of gender wage gap. So this study will analyze the efforts. This study will analyze the effect of the gender wage gap within the company on the first firm performance. Although the female worker proportion increases due to women improved education level and active participation in the workforce, a gender pay gap still exists. And this paper will be expecting that the gender wage gap hinder diversity, and this irrational wage gap negatively affect not only livelihood, but also the firm's performances. To be specific, we are going to use data from Human Capital Corporate Panel, and we will make a more accurate wage gap proxy by measuring the difference in residual of wage regression after controlling all individual characteristics rather than simply using the data, simply using the total wage gap. And probably we assume that the research will show that as the gender wage gap within a company decreases, the firm's performance increases. When the gender wage gap within a company decreases, the firm's performance increases. And in addition, when dividing firm performance into cost and sales growth, maybe the gender wage gap does not affect the cost, but it will enhance firm sales growth. So this is how we're handling this topic, and found some interesting Scopus articles, not only discussing about Korea, but some other countries, and references are right here. And Dalia will discuss about why this topic is important.
Hello, can you see me?
I can hear you and see you. I can see your paper, cross-cultural communication paper. Yes.
Oh yeah. Hi, I'm Danvin from Group 3, and you can call me Talia. And I will briefly explain why topic is very important for 3 reasons. And firstly, if equality in pay for men and women improves the performance of enterprises, then it will go a long way towards further narrowing the gender pay gap. And secondly, there has been a lot of focus on measuring the gender pay gap and little attention on the impact it has on companies. However, research on how the pay gap according to gender pay gap affects company is insufficient and is not enough. And thirdly, I think we should pay more attention to the social problem of gender pay gap, and because Korea has the largest pay gap between men and women among major OECD countries, we think that female employees also play a very important role in the enterprise, but it is still a difference in actual pay compared to the increasing proportion of women in companies. So in conclusion, the gender pay gap in South Korea is very large, and the impact of the gender pay gap on companies may help to solve this problem.
And that is the end of our presentation, Professor.
Great. Anybody care to practice being the professor? Who's the next group that wants to present? The next group that wants to present,
I would like to present.
Start by commenting on that last presentation.
Okay. Okay, so it was really dense, just like the previous presentation. So they were talking about men and women differences, about notably the payment, the gratification. I don't really know the word, between men and women, and they said that Korea has the largest gap. Yes, wage. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, I think this is really interesting because as a French person, we have the same problem in France, but I've never thought about what was it going on like this in other countries. So yeah, I think the topic is really interesting. Oh yeah, we can look up France, maybe. Oh, okay, we in the middle. I wouldn't have thought about that. Okay. That was cool, I think.
Thanks for the comment.
Would you be able to suggest a mark out of 15?
Is it the mark that is going to be kept for them? I don't want to be a teacher.
No. The final marks are my responsibility.
Okay.
I want you guys to practice. Why am I actually getting you guys to give marks? Because in Korea, most people are afraid to do it. Most people really, really don't like giving marks to other people because you're supposed to fit into your group. And so it's very hard for Koreans. If they practice here, it helps you when you're interacting with more international people. For example, in India, for example, it's pretty easy, or Pakistan, it's a lot easier for people to say, okay, he's worth 2 marks, or, there's no problem. They'll just shout it out. In Korea, they may be afraid to shell out, they get to 100. So what would you say?
Okay, so to me, the topic is really interesting, and they they brought a lot of resources. They really searched for what information about the topic they were discussing. So yeah, to me, it would be maybe 12 or 13 out of 15. I'm no professor, so maybe it's not really accurate.
No, that's okay. Anything else you'd like to say?
I already said what I wanted to say.
Okay,
no,
so can you actually repeat, what is their focus? What are you going to be a specialist in?
In the gaps between genders in certain countries, and specifically, apparently, in Korea.
Is it for people working in the rock mines, diamond mines, the gas mining operations, or the rocket companies that are going to Mars, or the fashion industry, or every single industry, which is many, 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 or every single company, which is many, 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 many?
All of them, I think.
Okay. Do you think that's
if I understood well?
Okay. Great. I would love to know that information. But is it possible to find out unless you survey every worker in every company? Be careful what you say. It's awesome idea. I want to know the answer. I want to help you. I will help your groups, all of the groups. Teaching team will help you. But if you bite off more than you can manage, it becomes harder. For example, it would be easier to talk about the gender pay gap in fashion industry companies in Daegu rather than all companies in all industries in the whole country. Because if you do say that, somebody in the fashion industry in Daegu can argue with you saying, no, I'm different than these big high-tech companies in Seoul, or some other natural gas company like SK out by Ulsan. Understand what I'm talking about, Kyunggan-jung?
Yes, you're saying that we have to be more specific in which field, which kind of field, or which kind of characteristic company we should be surveying about, asking about, handling about.
Yes, that would help you quite a bit. You have a lot of information. If I just, Jules, you can get ready to present soon. I just want to hijack details for a second. You do have you can see my screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
You have a good paper showing the gender pay gap affects companies. So that's pretty clear. You have your contacts. You don't have your contacts. You have your names and your student numbers. Don't forget, we're all living 2021 online. It might be better if you want people to see you're a specialist, put your email address or your LinkedIn address or your Facebook profile, something for people to contact you if they want to hire you for this. And then you had a lot of information, which is it's good. You might not need that much information, but the best stuff that I saw is with your references, you also identified some pretty good journals. So you are presenting quality information, but I didn't know that when you actually talked. When you're talking, I didn't know some information came from this most reliable source or the Academy of Management. It's unquestionably, it is the world's most trusted, most respected international business, international management journal. And you didn't really say that. So if I was a bad guy, if I was a troll, I could attack you easily. So continue to use those references, continue to do more, but talk about the references. And in addition to your paper, which was very good, you also have several different research articles, which is good. And all of these articles look really good. Like they look like they're good, respected Scopus journal articles. So continue to do that, exactly what you're doing. Hopefully those ideas will help you. With that said, Jules, it's your turn to talk.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, give me a second. Can you see
Yes.
my screen?
What was
Okay.
already discussed? I see this.
Oh, sorry. No, it's not there yet.
Culture differences with student body. I see this.
Yep. Mhm.
Everything in black. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's
Are you using Apple?
an add-on. No.
Okay.
It's just a
Cool.
yeah. I don't know where is it to start the presentation. Like,
If you want, I can share it.
right. Okay. Can you see it?
Yes,
now?
we can. Yes.
Okay. Let's start then. Maria, I
Yeah.
think you were, yeah.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Maria, and we are from Group 8. And we're going to talk about cultural differences within the student body at Keimyung University. The main problem here is what Keimyung University is doing to help foreign students adapt to the Korean culture and Korean way of living, and to make them feel part of the student body. But also, like on the other hand, we want to talk about how Korean students adapt to having foreign classmates. So we are going to talk about both point of views. Now, this leads us to how Keimyung University supports either local and foreign students to coexist and learn from each other. Now we are planning to solve this problem first based on the current situation. So what we already, what we will research, we are going to be based on that, and then we will offer new ideas to make the adaptation easier for both foreign and local students. And so our main question for this project is, how does Keimyung University manages cultural differences within the student body, and what can be improved?
And so why the adaptation of exchange student is important? It's because Keimyung University try to be world leader in higher education and also try to be international. Now there are 414 affiliated universities in 64 countries, and in this semester, Keimyung University hosted 178 exchange students in this semester. Not only because Keimyung University tried to become international, but also adaptation of foreign students has bigger influence. Maybe next slide, please. In the 21st century, every individual acts as a private diplomat who represent their country. Keimyung University also has a role as a private diplomat. As we know, image and culture makes money, but more than the industry. It is a political power. Image and experiences which exchange students made become soft power. Soft power is the ability of a country to persuade others to do what it wants without force or coercion. Culture and education, science are the example of the soft power. So how this institution manages cultural differences, not only within the student body, but within the whole academic community, becomes essential.
Okay, so Keimyung University in 2020 shared its vision of education in its brochure as an education-oriented university opening the light to the world, right? But what does that mean really? Well, to keep it plain and simple, they have a set of objectives and strategies. Some of these strategies and objectives will be, in fact, our points of interests. So for the strategies, they say they foster an organization to open to multiculturalism. And they want to develop education curricula catered to local needs. And for the objectives, they want an education center, regional university with a distinctive global identity. And another objective is the region's main driving force for globalization. So where we come up to this topic is that between what's written in the brochure and our own experience as exchange and Korean students, there may be some gaps and differences between what was advertised and what's really applied now. So we have a huge free land, in our opinion, to operate and ask, gather, survey a lot of data to see what works and what does not, and what we can do, maybe to change that. And that's the end of our presentation.
Great. I'm very interested in talking about this. Of course, we are all part of Kim Young University. So how are we doing together? Anybody want to talk about how we're doing amazing, or anybody want to talk about how we suck? Any comments? Who wants to present next? They need to evaluate a group, but I'm open to hear comments from anybody in the class.
Oh, we want to go next. Is that fine?
Okay.
I talk about this one. So I really liked like your guys' topic. I like how focused it is. Like it's not just general like cultural stuff in college. It's like really focused to our college that we're at right now, which I thought that's a good topic. I liked it.
Thanks.
Okay. So you're talking about cultural differences within the student body at Kim Young University. That is fairly specific, but then the first words you guys were saying were how does it compare to others, and what are some ways it can improve? That is even more specific, how it can benchmark other more international university practices. That's more specific. Good. Thank you very much for that. Gwen, sorry, I just interrupted you when you were in the middle of presenting, and I didn't hear you give them a final number of points. How many points do you want to give away?
Well, I'm nice, so I would give them all 15 points.
Perfect. 15 out of 15 from Gwen.
Yay.
So you're saying there's no way they could improve?
I mean, I think they could, but I feel like the improvement comes on later down the line. Like this is the very first assignment, and they did what they had to do. So I would give them all the points.
Okay. Were you the one that was just talking about internet trolls? How would you be able to attack them if you were an internet troll? What are we showing on the screen right now? Jules and your team, and Maria, that your paper that you created, I went in and I messed it up. I was the one that put that highlighting on your screen that you're showing right now.
Oh, okay, okay.
So
Sorry.
why did I highlight that? Can you guess? Talking about Gwen and internet troll. Are those really reliable people or organizations? Or is it just one organization talking about itself?
Yeah, should I answer, or Gwen?
Yes, you should.
Gwen. Okay, so we are interested in studying how Kim Young University works. So the information we can gather first, without asking anyone, are these articles that are indeed made by the Kim Young University, but we had no other choice. Maybe we could have found an article about an outside look from someone who talks about Kim Young University, but not being Kim Young itself. So I know it's not really objective because they want to promote their university, of course. So yeah, it's not really, it's a little biased, maybe.
I see your hand up, Maria. Go ahead, Maria.
Yes, I just wanted to say we used those references to have like a starting point to know what Cambridge University says on their website, what they are trying to do. But we're also gonna look up for more research papers to know what other people are saying, you know, to have like both sides of the story, kind of.
Okay. I just want to point out again that almost every organization in the world, they usually only say good things about themselves. They don't talk about how they torture people from Canada because their brains are frozen and they think it's fun to kick snowmen. They don't say bad things or how many Canadian students they fail, for example. They usually say how good it is, and that's a standard practice. So when you are trying to communicate, just be aware of those details. Jules, you're aware of those details. One thing that you said that you couldn't get other information. Where is the most reliable information in the world? How can you identify? What is a way to identify the most reliable?
Asking the interested people. So in our case, the students and the student body of Kim Young, since we can ask them.
Surprisingly, no.
No, okay.
A lot of experts around the world, they would say, oops, I'm happy we're online, so you can't beat me up. But a lot of people will say students don't count. Students are too young. They don't have work experience. They don't have kids. They don't have babies. They don't know as much about life as somebody that's in their 40s or 50s and knows about real life and the hard things. So don't ask them. They're just children running around and they don't know reliable life. So whatever they say, it's like a dreamland. And that's not my opinion. It's just a lot of researchers will say that. They will say, when you're doing a research report, if you survey somebody, for example, about the Nike's business practices selling shoes, if you survey students and what students think about them, some people will say that doesn't count. Students don't know what reliable business and marketing and stuff is. If you're focused on Nike sales only to students, then it would be good. And since you are focused on the student views, that would be good. But I don't think you said student views. You just said university practices, didn't you? And if you're talking about university practices, I think there's more than 400 universities in Korea and thousands or millions of universities around the world. I guarantee there are many journal papers that are respected talking about what you're talking about, maybe in France or in other countries. So you could reference those type of things. And so how do you recognize that? What is reliable? Let me give you another tip. A lot of journals are bullshit. A lot of journals, magazines have really bad information because they know every PhD student, they have to write a paper and they have to publish a paper. And a lot of professors have to publish papers. New professors and university students and PhD students, they don't know what is a good journal or bad journal. They just know that the university says you must publish. So criminals will start a fake journal and say, okay, we'll publish you if you pay us $1,000, and then they'll put it up, but they don't check the quality. And so the quality of the journal is crap. The best journals have experts, international expert peer reviews of your articles, and they identify if it's good or bad. And those are usually called Scopus, which is very easy to work with, or Web of Science, which is very, very specific. So try to find Scopus journals to show your reliability, your reliable information. Otherwise, you could get an internet troll attacking you or laughing at you or saying you're not reliable, things like that.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I would, I'll give you a very good grade. I'm not sure if I'd give you 15 out of 15, but I don't know, maybe 14.5, depending how you guys keep track.
Okay, okay.
So Gwen, did you say that you're next?
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna share screen. Can I share screen?
Yes, you can share your screen now.
Okay.
While she's getting ready, anybody else? I see Rosie, it looks like you're very close to the screen and very interested. Good. I like that being close. Did you want to say any comments about the last presentation before Gwen starts?
I don't have anything extra to add, really. It's just a very interesting topic, especially because it's very specific to our situation as well. So it's going to be very interesting to hear about what they find out, what the results are when it pertains to us as well.
Okay,
so interesting to see how it goes.
Before Gwen talks, I want to say one last thing. Is there any mother or father in this group for our class? Do we have a class mother? I'm not talking you have a baby. I'm saying, is there anybody that really wants to help our group? More specifically, how can this group get in trouble? I want to hear how we're either the best in the world at something or we suck at something. That would be cool to hear. But are you allowed to say that? Are you allowed cross-cultural communications in East Asia? Can you say Keimyung University sucks at blah, blah, blah? What would happen if you did? Go to Wikipedia, check the definition of defamation. The definition of defamation, say that 5 times fast, will tell you defamation in Korea is different than in many countries in Europe, and it's different definition than in many countries in North America. What it's saying is anybody that makes anybody else look bad or harms the image or harms the reputation of anybody is guilty, whether it's true and helpful or not. So if you say Keimyung sucks, they torture Canadian students because the Canadian students deserve to be tortured, the university could make you go to jail for 7 years. Even if you say Keimyung University has a wage gender gap, and this is one way to fix it, even though you're trying to help the university, because you told the world and told them publicly that they have a problem, that alone, even though you only say that for 10 seconds and then you talk for 2 hours about how to improve, that 10-second makes the university look bad, the president could make you go to jail for 7 years. So be careful of that. It's the same in many countries. Don't harm the image. Another thing is beware of reliability. The idea of referencing. You have referenced some, but reference lots and reference well. Reference reliable stuff. Referencing one organization, of course, you only started, so it's good. You don't need to reference, but you guys started. Referencing one organization will be biased. No matter how good your research is, people will argue. Internet trolls will attack you. Referencing blogs, they will also attack you. Make sure you know that Scopus articles are reliable. People can't argue that easily at all. Defamation. Last thing, Maria, how long could you go to jail if you say I am a terrible teacher, even though it's true?
I have no idea. Even
7, in Korea, in East Asia, many parts of East Asia, you could go to jail for 7 years. And then after the police send you to jail, whoever you made look bad could attack you and make you pay them a lot of money. So it's serious. It's really, really serious here in the country. So whatever you're going to do with your research, tell me privately and tell me all the bad stuff. But when you tell the world, make sure you're just suggesting good things to improve or the best practices. Don't make the university look bad. Same thing for that last group. That last group was talking about the gender pay gap. Same thing. If you're talking about one company or one country or anybody, and you say they have a problem with this gender pay gap, you're making them look bad and you could be guilty, liable for defamation. So sorry for interrupting. Gwen, go ahead. Your turn.
Okay, so our topic is which study method is more effective, specifically for students at Keimyung University, or we'll make the title more specific later. But Wongi, would you like to start us out, please?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
So it's my turn to just introduce what is the topic of our group is. So we all know that as students, studying it occupies a big part of one student's life. This means, it is important to find an effective study method, to help them to get good grades. So in order to decide which study method is more effective, we must define what it means to effectively study. So at first, we thought, it should be mean which way of studying produces better grades. However, nowadays we thought that many students might study enough to get good grades, but forget the course material as soon as it passes over. It's just like, they are simply like the machine to for the testers to study. So keeping that in mind, we decided that our definition of effective studying is a method that both results in good grades and produces long-term memory of the material.
So that's the part I covered. Every student has their own goals. Getting high grades from university courses, passing an exam to acquire a certificate, and obtaining a high GPA for post-university goals can be reason for students for studying. However, not every student is satisfied or fulfill their academic achievement. Students will be satisfied if the academic results meets the level of effort they put in. But on the other hand, if they are not satisfied with their results, although they put in a lot of effort, then it means one is manipulating themselves, that they try their best, or the effort and works that one has done were ineffective to bring expected outcome. Then therefore, it is important to study in an effective way to produce results which are proportional to effort that one has tried. So effective method of studying will bring higher satisfaction with academic results, which will eventually lead to successful academic and career path after school.
Okay, me again. I'm gonna talk about the why is it important. So it's reasons behind the situation. So first is developing effective studying methods will save you much time and energy instead of spending a large amount of time studying, like simply reciting and reviewing. You're able to make the most use of your time saved for other things you are interested in, and not only can you get good grades, but you can cultivate your own interests as well. Studying smarter, not harder. The second reason is when someone uses less time to get better grades, it will increase their confidence and self-esteem. It's a positive cycle, it will increase their confidence. It will just help to reduce some meaningless anxiety and pressure from testing peers. And the third reason is studying is a long-term matter. Good study methods can improve the ability of learning and absorbing knowledge. No matter when they are in the school or in the future they get into the workplace. So knowing how to learn and remember knowledge for a long time is important for everyone. So we'll think that it is important to study.
And so in order for us to figure out which study method is most effective, we plan to survey the students around Keimyung University campus and to find out which study method, like actual tried and true study method, gets the best results. So we're going to ask the students different questions about their study methods, like do they study alone with other people? Where do they study? Like do they study on campus, off campus? And do they listen to music? What type of music do they listen to when they study, etc.? And we will also ask some questions such as what grades on average do they get, and also how well they feel that they remember the course material after the class is over. And so as we stated, our definition of effective studying is results that both get the highest grades, but also have like a highest memory of the material after the course is ended. So we are going to go through our results and find the study methods that produced the highest grades and the highest long-term memory. And out of those, we will find like the most common methods will be the most effective study method.
And in the subject of education, learning strategy has been a contentious issue. Simsek and Balaban in 2010 wrote about learning strategies in the article, Learning Strategies of Successful and Unsuccessful University Students. Students can pick and choose from a variety of learning methods. The association between strategy use and numerous learning outcomes such as achievement. And it should come as no surprise that learner can employ a wide range of learning techniques. It's because depending on the instructional variables, including individual differences, type of domains, teaching methods, amount of time, learning technologies, forms of feedback, and so on, each student chooses and employ a distinct strategy. This will include strategies of rehearsal, elaboration, organization, metacognition, and motivation. And successful students on average use more and better learning strategies than unsuccessful students. Students' characteristics determine their learning process. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to learning that will guarantee success in every circumstance. For successful and fulfilling outcome in educational practice, teaching strategy must be fairly consistent with learning strategy. The utilization of learning strategy and academic achievement were found to have a favorable and substantial link in general. The higher the student achievement, the more learning strategies were used.
So I covered another case related to the topic. Khan, Shah, and according to Sahib Zada say in their article that impact of self-regulated learning behavior on the academic achievement of university students, that self-regulated learning behaviors are essential for students in higher level of education as students will be in student-directed education environments. Psychologists have discovered that a student's intelligence is based on their knowledge system and strategies they use as a tool when learning and thinking. They apply useful studying tools like previewing, note-taking, memorizing, and visualizing concept maps in the classroom to accelerate both efficiency and the learning process. Furthermore, students with a high sense of self-regulation are capable of analyzing learning tasks, setting learning goals, and planning strategies before the lecture or start of the study. So though this article does not provide specific method for effective study, it provides how students' mindset and attitude and behavior affect their academic outcome.
So we're obviously not the first people to do research in, best ways to study, best ways to learn. But what we're hoping to bring to the topic, well, we're asking Kim Il University students about their study habits. So our case results are going to be specific to the study environment available to students at Kim Il University. Like maybe we'll find out that the best place to study is at the International Lounge. Well, that's not going to be helpful to anybody at any other college since we're the only one that has this specific International Lounge. So we're hoping that our results are going to be able to help current and future Kim Il University students in their academic endeavors. And that's it.
Thank you very much. So I understand you're focused on which study method is more effective. Great. The last sentence you just said sounded extra interesting to me. I thought one of your last sentences was saying how international students can study best in a cross-cultural communication environment at an exchange university. Two completely different topics. two completely different titles.
I got a question. How did you understand that last sentence?
Because throughout your talk, you were saying things about Kim Young. You were talking a lot just about studying, period. Studying anything. And so I actually wrote down, before I used to be a medical doctor, and when I was studying in medical school, I had to study on dead bodies. The best studying I had would be cutting up dead people. If I was only studying books, it was proven you would not get as much information or much ability or do as well in the tests as if you're just doing the books versus the slicing up dead people. So I was writing down, studying based on your major, your study is different than studying countries, different than studying age versus industry, etc. And so I was going to ask, how are you going to focus on that? But I heard your last sentence, or the second last sentence, you were talking about how international students at a international exchange program can study best. Very different. That last line was very specific, and it could be used for every school around the world to help their international exchange students integrate. Am I off base? Any comments about that?
I think so, because I don't think I said international students. I did mention the international lounge, but I might have accidentally said international students.
You said the international lounge, I think, at the beginning of your paragraph, but I think one of the second last sentences you actually said international students, which I like.
Well, then I think I tripped over myself. I didn't mean to.
But the rest of the class, Solman Kim, you're in that group. So if I ask you to evaluate, you're just going to say, perfect, they're awesome. Same thing with Will Win. Who is another?
Can I say something?
Sure can.
Well, I really like the topic they're going to talk about. I think it's necessary because we as students, we are always looking for the best way to study and to really learn the material that we look into during class. So I think this is going to really help for future students, not only foreign students, but any students around the world. Like this case is specifically, I think it's specifically at Keiming University that they're going to talk about, because they're going to survey the students in this university. But I think it will be useful for any student at any place in the world.
Okay. Mugalisa, are you available now? Will you be able to give a comment about that presentation?
Yes.
Great. You start giving the comment, and after you, Ali Akbar can also give another comment about this presentation. Go ahead.
I really like the topic because if honestly, I never meet such close to this topic and before. And I think that this research will help to international students as well, not only to exchange program students, to learn how to gain effective knowledge and take advantage from the university abroad.
Are you still there? Maybe did we lose?
Yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. You were talking about you really like the subject, okay?
And I'm interested for the result part mostly.
Okay. How would you evaluate their specific focus and their need to learn this information, the demand for this topic? Why is it important? Can you comment on that?
Sure. As I mentioned, that it's really important, not only for exchange program students, but international students as well as me. Yeah, I mean, it will be very useful.
Okay, and out of 15 points, how many points would you give them?
30.
Okay, that was quick. 13 out of 15. Okay, thank you. What about Ali Akbar?
Professor, I think they discuss more clearly about the study of international students. So I think 13 is the first point. Okay, 13 out of 15.
Could you give them a few more details? Could you explain a little bit more?
I think they should focus on other facilities like university have to how to engage all the other international students with each other. I think.
Okay, how to organize international students to get involved with each other. Okay, that's one suggestion. Okay, and you provide 13 out of 15 for that also. Okay, anybody else want to give a comment before we move on to the next topic? Going once, going twice. I don't hear too many else. Okay, I'm going to hijack your screen. Thank you very much, group. Ooh, look what I have on my screen. Can you guys see this, Gwen? Can you see this? Can you read it, Gwen?
Yes, it says how to study.
Okay, it is a book, 3rd edition. This was created when? 1993. It wasn't created in 1896. I think it has several different versions. 1993. It is a popular thing. This was created through the University of Chicago. It's talking about the meaning of study, fundamental requirements for effective study, favorable concentration. Obviously, you can see all of these details on my screen. So the topic has already been published. And in addition to this book, I have written a book on a student guide on how to study in an international program before at a different university. So that's the second book. Mine is like a small little booklet. But this one, it goes through and there's several pages talking about lots of details, effective reading, many different things, reading details. If we keep jumping through it, how to organize notes, speed reading, how to do speed reading, listening, note taking. So your title can will win. Can you tell me the title of your topic again?
What is the most effective study method? Professor?
So what is the most effective study method? Does this not say this publication? It could be saying cramming, how to deal with these things. It talks a lot about this stuff. So that's why I was giving some suggestions for you guys earlier. Which study method is more effective? For example, if you're talking about international students on an exchange in a foreign language country, that would be very specific. And I don't think you'll have a lot of other people teaching that. So when you do research, one of the first requirements is you should be teaching something new. And how to study, it would help if you focus the topic a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, can I clarify something?
Please. Yes.
I think ours is, I'm going to try and explain it better. It's more like how to utilize like the surroundings at Keimyung University, I guess, to
for international students surviving in a Korean environment. Is that what you're talking
do we
about?
have to? I mean, we weren't going to focus it specifically on international students.
You don't have to do that, but you need to be specific in order for you to teach the world something new. If you're just talking about how to study at Keimyung, then what I'm just showing you, this teaches that. This teaches it at any university. So what is different about yours? What is different?
Can I add a comment?
Sure. I might have misunderstood what Gwen said, so please give a comment. Yes.
Well, the information that you're sharing with us, the how to study file, I think that's like a classic way of studying. There's a list of everything, but what we are trying to find is not qualitative, but quantitative. We are doing surveying students, and the data that we get, we will use that as which way is most effective according to the survey that we have done at Keimyung University. I think that's kind of specific, isn't it?
It is more specific. If you're saying this group of 30 international students at Keimyung University, which student has the best grades?
I mean,
that could be more specific. But then you could have people arguing with you about, well, what about one student having, a maximum IQ and the other student may be from Canada with me and they may have a 0 IQ, their brain's frozen. Is your study, in general, there's people that could argue about anything. It is best to try to be specific. So if you're just talking about identifying, I think you said 138 international students this semester, and what is the best way some group is studying within them. Okay, if that's what you want to teach the world, yes, it's up to you. I don't want to prevent you from studying Keimyung. I love that idea. I'm just saying try to be very specific. For example, maybe compare what a university in South Africa is doing that we could learn from, or a university in Paris or Toronto or New York or Tokyo. What are some things this program could develop or improve based on the benchmarking examples? Again, I saw your study saying which study method's more effective. This is very general. So try to be more specific. Whatever you're going to do, try to be more specific. That's number one. Number two, there's, I don't see too many references here. There is a reference here. That's good. Kan. Not too many other references here. There isn't a reference here. You should try to keep your references all together. Is this part of your file? Here is some of your references. It's sort of, there is a different way to record your references. Try to make sure you understand how to record your references. I have this here, for example, is one of the articles, which is good. But also write down the time that you get it or the day that you get the information. For example, this article may be pulled from this Scopus website. It may be deleted today. And then how are you going to reference? How are you going to know the date, the volume number? All of these details are required in your publishing details. So try to record that stuff well. Anyway, thanks. It was great. And I'm very interested in finding more information about this. Thank you. Is there another student?
Professor?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got to go. The course was supposed to end 15 minutes ago, I think.
Yes.
So
bye, guys. Class is definitely finished. Oh, don't be sorry at all. It is our fault. I get excited about these topics. So have a good day. I will see you guys next class, but we don't have a class next week. Make sure you're aware of that. There is the holiday on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Okay.
If anybody wants to continue chatting, I'll stick around, continue talking.
Goodbye, Professor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Good day. How you doing?
Hello, Professor.
Hi.
Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thank you for continuing to talk to me and hopefully develop the project together.
I hope so. Professor, can I share my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay. First of all, I just made a note like what I should have to ask. First of all, I would like to ask about the survey. As you remember, I'm going to do a survey from the Uzbekistan, Yeoju University, and the specific target from the Korea is Keimyang University. And then my question is that this is actually the questions. If the mostly from the University Keimyang, they choose the no because they are not familiar with Telegram. And even if they choose the no, I will continue my survey and will highlight in the result part. However, I'm not sure like if they choose, have you purchased a fashion item from the Telegram online store, and they will choose no, and there is mostly questions related the like, for example, interacting with Telegram online stores did not require a big mental if they are not familiar with a Telegram online store. So how they will answer to this question? I'm just curious about that.
What was the question in the article that you're replicating? Can you show me that journal article?
That there here was the culture difference in terms of like purchasing online, like developing countries and the developed countries. In their case, they are like somehow their questions fit into their topic, but when it's come to specific to Telegram online stores, I can't like do it.
Okay, why are you in love with Telegram? Why are you restricting it? So can I see the questions?
Yes,
from this? I think it's right at the very end in the appendix.
Here. You mean from the article, right? Question.
Yes, because again,
it's only for online stores. There is no specific app in their questions. Like,
okay,
here so you go.
Like you obviously like Telegram and you obviously like online shopping, but I think what you do like most is just graduating, right? And so the only thing that you care about is creating anything that the thesis committee is going to approve. And so if you're following the style and format closely that's already proven accepted, they can't argue. So if your questions are the same, if the model is basically the same,
yeah,
they can't argue with you. So what are their questions?
For example, I took the attitude and it's asked about this, like buying online stores is attractive, like this one.
Where does it identify which program they use? Does it talk about that?
No, it's general about the online stores, whatever, like any app or any, I don't know what.
Okay. Why do you want to have a difference? Why don't you do the exact same thing as this?
The reason why I can change it because I already have 76 response, which is related to Telegram online stores from the Uzbekistan. If I'm going to change, I should have to do another survey. Like I should have to change it.
What if you're able to say your question? Where's the question that talks about Telegram? So here, your question Q2 number 1, my interaction with Telegram online stores is clear and understandable. And if you're sure that Koreans are not aware of Telegram very much, why don't you say something like my interaction with online stores such as Telegram is clear and understandable? And then you can, then if they're using Instagram to shop, or if they're using Kakao for online shopping, it still applies.
Okay, okay. I will then say and change the
Because
question.
I'm positive many, many millions of Koreans are shopping online all the time. So if you're talking about just online shopping, they will be able to provide you with a lot of information. If one of your questions is, which one do you use the most and why, you could add that to the survey.
Okay.
And then you're still following that other research format. So try to make sure your questions are similar to that other research paper. So this question number Q2 number 1, where does that match in your paper that you're replicating? So my interaction with Telegram online stores is clear and understandable.
This one here, easy of use. Can you see?
Okay, so great. My interaction with online stores. So it's the exact same question. You
Yes, just
such as Telegram. And with Koreans, since they don't understand it, you may want to put another popular online shopping company name. Like, what's it called?
Coupang, Gmarket.
Sure, exactly. Gmarket, super popular. Yeah, Coupang, yes. So such as Telegram / Coupang / Gmarket ... and then continue.
Okay. So here, and also I should have to like change it, or it should be stay for the Uzbekistan. This one.
I would try to keep it the same.
Same.
Don't tell the other KAC supervisors that you changed afterwards, because that's not proper or ethical. But it's better if your questions are the same. If you're asking the same thing. Yes.
Okay. I will. My next question is
and then after you make those changes, you're going to forget what we just talked about, right?
Okay. I got your point. My next question is about the can I do defense before getting a full survey, like with methodology, with the part 1, part 2, and methodology part without any results, or should it have to be after completing all my thesis? I mean, all my
your thesis is supposed to be finished in order to the whole idea is you're supposed to be learning something new, researching something, finding something new. And the thesis professors, we're supposed to argue with you that that's stupid, it's wrong, it's bad, you don't know what you're talking about. And then you need to defend, yes, this is why I did it, and we learned this is new. And so if you didn't finish it, then how can you teach us something new? You can, as long as you have more than 30 people surveyed, it's a good start. And you can say, you can analyze the data from 30 people. You have 60 people in Uzbekistan, 76 people in Uzbekistan. Great.
Yes.
But hurry up and start getting people to do this survey in Korea. Try to get more than 30 people to do it.
Okay. I got your point.
We have 20 people in our, you're in the CCC class, right? And there's like, I think 32 students in that class. So try to get everybody in the class to do it also.
Okay. My next question is about about the introduction part. I put some information. Oh my goodness, I put some information about the Uzbekistan, about like Telegram online stores. Should I have to mention Korea and their online stores as well in my introduction part?
That would be good, yes.
Okay.
Again, what is one sentence that you're trying to teach the world? That's what you should focus on.
Here, it was in my proposal as well. Why they focus on Telegram online stores, and what why they behave in this manner.
Okay. Sorry for waking up your child. What did that other article that you're copying teach the world? What is their
They teach
sentence?
they were like why developing countries use more online stores rather than developed countries. Why developed countries, why developing countries don't use online shopping rather than developed countries.
So we're talking about the paper that's comparing,
Yes.
what was it, Colombia and Spain?
Yes, yes.
And they're saying Spain is developed and Colombia is not developed?
In terms of using online stores.
Okay, so are you saying Korea is developed and Uzbekistan's not really developed with?
Yes.
Okay, so why are you changing things? Why don't you use the exact same thing from that paper?
Okay. Okay.
Because
Okay.
if you make something new, you have to start from the beginning and make everything new and explain why you're making it new. But if you're just extending the exact same survey with the exact same style, you can talk about Colombia and Spain were reported there, and now Korea and Uzbekistan's reported here, and use the exact same sentences in some cases.
Okay. That's your point. Okay, and then I will change something here in my introduction part.
Okay.
So it will be more fit to the previous research. And
don't forget, since the other paper is also comparing two countries, which are almost identical to you, a developing country and a developed country.
Yeah.
You can use a lot of their same stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Put it in quotes, like maybe you have a whole paragraph indented a little bit more and put quotes around it, and you can show this information comes from this other study that you are expanding.
Okay. Professor, one more question. I have another question, but it's already meaningful because I'm going to change my introduction part. My another question is that Clifford, he mentioned that if I'm doing like for more pages, so it will like will be helpful to do defense. So there will be less question if I will write more. Is that like that?
For idiots, yes. Most simple-minded people, they will think good quality, anything that has a lot of information must be good. And so, yes, some people say a defense should be 100 pages or 75 pages. But if you have good quality, that's the only thing that's important. And good quality paper could be 8 pages, but you may have 28 references or 30 references.
Okay.
So how many references did they have in that other paper?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, take care of your child. I can wait. I'm not important. She's important.
Yeah, sorry.
If I knew how to sing, I'd try to sing if I can calm her down, but I don't sing very well. I'd probably make her cry more if I was singing.
This is the references which I am using, and also I will add another one. Like it will going like about 2 pages because I'm using the reference from the previous article and will add mine as well. These are all from the Scopus.
Okay, they don't all have to be from Scopus. Scopus just means it's top quality, but many times Scopus might be a little bit old. So you can reference Facebook, you can reference what you see students write in Kakao groups. That's okay. And don't forget, don't write work cited. You should be probably writing references.
Okay. I got your point.
Looks like things are developing well. You've got an introduction, quite a lot of references so far. It's September 14th, one more week for the initial deadline. Are you feeling confident you might be able to do something for September 20th?
I think that after Chuseok, I will be ready because I'm waiting for the response.
Okay.
I mean, I have done with literature review, and I have done already with almost with methodology as well. It's almost 1 page, and I think that the result part left, and that's it.
Great. Why are you so Asian polite? Why are you so quiet in class? And my intention is, your research is good. You're a great person. If you start the class and say, hi guys, I'm doing this research project. Can you guys take 2 minutes to fill out the survey in every class, and you talk to them about it, you'll get much more, you'll be finished the surveys.
Yes.
So
okay, I will do.
Next class, I hope to see the survey shared with the students. Join the class a little bit early and talk about it. I'll keep telling students to do things like that.
Okay.
It should help you.
Okay, thank you so much for your
Is
help.
anything else I can do to help you?
No, that's it. I asked all my questions related to the topic.
Do you know several websites in Korea where you can post your survey?
Yeah, my friends had already experience, so I'm going to ask them.
Okay. All right. Well, have a good day.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you so
Sorry
much.
for maybe my voice was scaring your child, but
No, thank you.
have a good day. Bye.
Thank you.